Peter Safari Shehe, thank you very much for taking your time to do this interview, to explain to the people in Switzerland what you're doing in Kenya.
Thank you very much.
You're born in Kenya. You are a real Kenyan, aren't you?
Yes, I was born in Kenya in 1955, and I'm a Kenyan, but half Kenyan.
What's the other half?
Because I'm half Swiss, I'm half Kenyan.
Your second name is Safari. Is this your real name?
Yeah, this is actually my really name, middle name, which was given to me by my mother because I was born when my mother was on a safari.
Ah, and Safari means trip.
Yeah, safari means trip.
In Swahili?
In Swahili, yes.
Okay. Because I think in Switzerland some people think it's your nickname.
Not really, because nicknames are not given just by parents. Because I was born and my mother was traveling from up country to the lower part of Coast Province, and in between I happened to have been born, and that's why my mother called me Safari.
What kind of education do you have?
I have a mixed education because I started my education way here in Kenya, and I went all the way to higher education. They call it higher education here in Kenya, whereby I attended a Catholic intermediate school, and thereafter I joined several management courses, and from there I worked for a while and then went back to Switzerland. When I reached to Switzerland, and I am a very inquisitive person, I tried to go into the education system in Switzerland, and I found it quite interesting because it is an education system that really concentrates on the know-how of a person. So as I decided to go into that, I had to go first to go learning the language, which I had a lot of problems, but then I managed after some time, but I didn't give up, and I went on with the management courses, business courses, and finally I had to do a high diploma in facility management in Switzerland. As until when I left Switzerland, I was doing the same job as a facility manager.
So when exactly did you come to Switzerland and why?
I came to Switzerland back in 1989, and this time I had known a lady who we got married in 1990 April, and then I stayed there all long, and that's the reason why I went actually to Switzerland. And after 10 years, I had to bring my entire 4 children to stay with me in Switzerland.
So your children are living in Switzerland now?
My children have gone to school, and they have completed the courses that they have completed, and they are now working, all of the 4. And I decided also to see how I could help the less unfortunate children back in Africa and Kenya, and especially from Ganze, where I was really born.
So you're not married?
No, I'm not married.
But in Kenya, people are allowed to have several wives. Is that nothing for you?
Those ones who are allowed to have several wives, really, they have no religion. because you cannot pretend to be a Christian, where the Christianity rule also allows one wife per person. And if you go to the Muslim community, they can have many, but I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Christian, so either I am married or I am divorced.
But Swahili culture also allows several women, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not a Swahili.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. My name is Peter, the hard rock in the Bible.
So you didn't come to Switzerland neither as a beach boy nor as an asylum seeker?
No, I didn't come to Switzerland as a beach boy because I had a very senior job in a very well-established company here in Kenya. And in Switzerland, since I got married to a Swiss lady, I got a very nice job, and it has nothing to do with political icing because we don't have that status here in Kenya.
Your first job was in a large supermarket. What were the differences in the professional life that you found compared to Kenya?
First of all, I was very thankful to have such a job in Switzerland because the language technicalities were very difficult for me because I could not know how to speak the German language as I went to Switzerland, and it was as if I was favored to some way. So I was very thankful to work in Migro, and I had an opportunity really to show that I had the capability to exercise the duties that were expected out of me. So I was working in the Verkaufswagen, whereby drivers and cashiers used to take some material to go and sell in the rural areas, come back in the evening and fill in the cars for the next trip, and that was my first job in Switzerland.
And what was different compared to Kenya?
Yeah, because first of all, the items were quite different, and how they could have been named. It was a big challenge to me because I was dealing with eating material, non-food, and soft drinks, and clothes, tailoring, and that was, and vegetables also, molkerai, and deep cool material. So that one was quite a big challenge as compared to Kenya here. I had not yet even gone into those areas.
But the way of working, was that any different from Kenya?
Absolutely, it was a big difference because I used to work sometimes from 2 o'clock in the morning, whether it is snowing, whether it is raining. I must be punctual at my place of work to distribute the auction material which was to be collected by the drivers around 5 o'clock in the morning. So the punctuality for me was quite a big step forward as compared to the Kenyan working.
In 2013, you were elected as a member of parliament in the National Assembly for the Ganze Constituency. What was the reason that you went for this election?
There are two. The biggest issue on this election is such that I had a feeling that the Ganze community where I was born needed somebody who was open, somebody who was really dedicated to help the people, because as opposed to the previous elected people who were ahead of me, they had not given the really expectation to the community, and that gave me the urge to go and help them openly without any corruption.
is this parliament comparable to the two-chamber system of Switzerland?
There are similarities on the parliamentary system, but not exactly the same. And this started actually in 2013 here in Kenya, because there was this devolution which is almost similar to the federal system in Switzerland, but it starts from up going down, and the other system in Switzerland begins from the bottom up. So the similarities are there, but the systems are not complicated. But I have a big part of understanding, because that one, which the system in Switzerland, which is already operating, I know it, and it was, for me, it was a big step that I could just continue exercising that system, which is operating in Switzerland. But here it was being exercised for the first time.
And how long are you elected for?
The term here begins from when you are elected for 5 years, and after 5 years, depending on how the community is satisfied by one's deeds, then you can be re-elected, or they can elect another person altogether.
So it's the citizens who elect you?
The citizens or the community is the one which is actually responsible for electing you or electing me, and going back with that particular trust that they can expect a difference in administration, manning a few things, and giving the services that maybe they can be helped to develop.
What influence do the tribes have in Kenyan politics? Is it more important which tribe you belong to, or which party in the political sense?
This is a tricky situation whereby many of the people and elderly people are basically on tribal basis, and most of the tribes they go on selecting their own. And if you come from the largest tribe, then you have an easy way to be elected. But sometimes it goes the other way around. Like when I was elected, I come from the smallest tribe in the Mijikenda called the Kauma, and we are about 20,000. And the rest of the 80% is Giriama, which the Giriamas also decided to change, because for the last 50 years they have been electing Giriamas, and we as Kaumas, with our 20,000 votes, we have been electing the Giriamas, and this time they decided to change for a Kauma. And that's how I really managed to go into the political system.
In Switzerland, each canton has its own constitution, its own legislative and executive authority. How does this work in the Ganze Constituency?
This is a tricky one, because Ganze has 4 wards. In English, maybe we have 4 wards in Ganze, and these 4 wards constitute the Ganze Constituency, and they are very big also, because Ganze is lying on a 3,300 square kilometers, and in this constitution we have similar constitutions numbering to 7 that form the Kilifi County. So we are as a sub-county with 4 wards, and the area coverage is almost 3,300 square kilometers. And the political setup is such that they cannot set up their own rules to go and change something, because I represent the entire Ganze 4 wards in the national parliament. And this national parliament decides what the counties have to follow. So we give directions to the counties, and especially also when it comes to money. We have to be, from the national government, very objective and try to see which county is worthy giving how much money. And some of the regulations and rules are also governed from the national government, where we pass the rules in the national parliament, and that one is for every county the same.
So the business you do is mainly national, but what exactly do you decide on constituency level?
I decide for the national because I sit in the national government, and most preferably to say is I have got 4 committees which I am attached to them in case of any law that has to be changed into a bill. Then it is discussed in this particular level. And if I know it in advance, then I go to my constituency or to my Ganze area, and then I sit with my MCAs. The MCAs are called members of county assembly, reporting to the governor. I sit with them, give them a hint of what the national government is deciding to do. Well, it will depend on them whether they take it to the governor or not, but that one would have been the best opportunity for them to get the right-hand information from me, so that they can also inform their governor and try to see how they can change a few of their ways of the administration.
But the way it looks, the citizens also come to you directly for many reasons.
Absolutely, because the system of devolution was just started 2 years ago when we were elected. And you can imagine 50 years under the line, it has always been the central member of parliament, and there was no devolution, say for a governor or a member of county assembly. So there was just a member of parliament who was representing each and everything to the national government. And so the people are used to that. They just come directly to me, because even if we have got senators now, we have got the women representatives, we have got the governor, we have the MCAs, but they don't, the community doesn't seem to be valuing that. They just know the member of parliament. So everybody comes to me with any type of questions and assistance and every type of explanation.
If you compare federalism from Switzerland with the system in Kenya, what are the differences?
That is a very important question. For me, I will start from the Swiss federalism system. It is among the best in the whole world I could know. That would have really given a lot of peace to so many people, because there is a lot of equality, there is a lot of services to the really deepest part of each of the areas that this system is working. But as compared to our Kenyan system, it is still on the colonial way of who is who and who has what. Because if you are not a doctor, if you are not a professor, then you don't matter in the normal community. And whoever has it gets even more. And that one who doesn't have, or those ones who don't have, they don't have nothing. So there's no even a middle class. You cannot even classify anyone. So I would imagine that the system of rotational presidential system, for example, it would have removed the entire way of fighting that everyone wants to be supreme. And for example, I took a big borrowing hand from Switzerland to form my Federal Party of Kenya. And this Federal Party of Kenya is giving hope to the really forgotten communities. But because we don't have the ability, we cannot even push it forward. There's no money for that. Because those ones who have money, they'll be given money. Those ones who don't have, they don't have. But at least for the first trial in this Federal Party of Kenya, in Kenya here, I managed to get 3 members of parliament spread all over Kenya, and also 1 senator, and also 18 members of county assembly, which is a very big achievement as per the first year. Of course, I didn't have money, and parties are run on monetary or money issues. But yeah, I know if I would have the resources, this one would have been a solution for this sub-Sahara state to be the first to have such a system which is functioning. And the things would have been different. There would be no these eras where you find young men and women going into the terrorism wings and registering themselves, because it would have really satisfied almost everyone. But here, now we are here, those ones who have the ability, those ones who have money, they are people. Those ones who have nothing, even if you pass through there, nobody will look at you. But in the federalism situation or system, I really envy that one. That one is a system to watch. If this one would have been spread in this world, there would have been peace.
Sometimes you're seen in the Swiss press with traditional clothing. What exactly is the meaning of that?
Thank you very much. The traditional clothing, this one is a big honor for the community of the Mijikenda. And when I say Mijikenda, it is the entire Coast Province, which is extending from the border of Tanzania, and farthest is Somalia. That whole area, the Coast Province, is merely Mijikenda area. And these Mijikendas have got a tradition. And this tradition is somebody has to be answerable, to be a spokesman for the community. And I was overwhelmingly elected by these people, the Mijikendas, from each and every region where it is not only Kilifi. Because in Kilifi we have got seven Mijikenda tribes, and in Kwale we have got 2, making the 9 Mijikendas. So in each of these Mijikenda answerable people, they sat and they all decided to choose me as their spokesman. And this one is a free, willing position where I don't get paid by nobody, although it is quite taxing, because I have to also, on my normal duties, also have to buy time to cater for these Mijikendas, which is a non-profitable, non-paying position.
Kenya has also been in the news about corruption. What does this mean in your professional life, in your job?
This corruption is the biggest enemy, and it's a vice that has been in this government system for a very long time. It's very unfortunate that anyone attempting to go head on, then you are really confronted with a lot of funny things. Like I remember last time they were changing a story which was to other parties, and they thought that it was me, tarnishing somebody's name, that I have been stealing, and the other party was involved in the stealing. So you see, if you are straightforward, then you are being fought from head to toes, because I have a very strong belief that the people must work correctly, trustworthy, and expeditive, so that they can get at least the best out of the effort that we are doing. But what happens is those who are really corrupt and they are not willing to change have got a big problem in this system where I am heading this community, because they are used to only handouts and corruption, which has been the trend of the entire country. But it has to change, because I promised them and I told them that with my roots from Switzerland, corruption-free must stand, and they will see within a very short time we have moved a very big way forward without.
So people understand. Can you explain what your daily job involves, how your week looks like?
My week looks like I have to start from Tuesday up to Thursday in the parliament, and from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday I am with the constituency citizens on solving their issues. So during my time in the parliament, I have got also other roles as committees. I've got 4 committees. The first one is house business. I have got also integration. I've got also transport, regional transport and public works and housing. And I am also the vice chair of powers and privilege, which these other functions, they take most of the times which I am engaged in decision making for the parliament.
Do you also travel to other countries for the parliament?
Absolutely. As we go benchmarking from different countries, I would even imagine that we have even proposed, or I proposed that my powers and privileges committee, which we are only 9 people in the national parliament, I had requested to go and visit our country, men and women back in Switzerland, and that is still on the way, and I hope we can manage to visit that country, and so that these people can really see what democracy is. And also, like now in my transport committee, I'm supposed to be leaving on 27th to South Africa, and we've been moving, trying to see how best other countries are doing, so that we can come and advise our other members of parliament and how we can change a few things here and there.
How many members of parliament are in the National Assembly?
We are 349 members. It's quite a big contingent in the national government.
If you reflect on your first year as being a member of parliament, what can you say in short?
In short, I can really say that I am really a foreigner in my own country, because I have really problems where people don't understand me, first of all, and I have problems also to understand the people, because it's as if somebody talks a whole round and he doesn't come out from the roundabout. So I have really problems, and I'm yet to make sure that at least I understand and push forward. That's why most of the administrative, the senior executive, they have given me a lot of responsibilities in committees which are quite strong in the national parliament, so that I can give some way forward. Because I'm quite precise, and once I make a decision, it's that way. That's why we find that even if we have 349 members of parliament, and any member is free to be elected in each of these committees, but I happen to have fallen into 4 of them, and I didn't request to be chosen, but there's the executive members of the government who actually also decide which member is worthy to join which type of a committee.
So in a way, your Swiss experience is helping you.
My Swiss knowledge, my Swiss learning has given me an upper hand, which I am really delegating my duties very, very exhaustively.
Does everybody understand what you want to do with your Swiss way? Some people might only know that Switzerland is a rich country.
Let them know that Switzerland is a rich country, and let them know that the richness didn't come just from the heaven, Let them know that people worked and they are still working very hard, and they must also follow suit, otherwise they will be left out of the road.
So do you get any support from Switzerland, and if so, in what form?
Yes, I get a good backup, especially from Ganze. It is an NGO which was formed to assist me through my partner, Rin, and she is really helping in sending in volunteers who have been assessing learning systems like education and health facilities. And I find that before we really approach an issue, there must be a basic explanation where somebody can understand. And these volunteers who have really come all the way from Switzerland, they have done a commendable job, which at least somebody can say, okay, if I need help, but I need it on this particular respect. So that I find it a very big basis where we can, from that level, expect that maybe Ganze, which has been registered in Switzerland and also in Kenya, it can be a very good system to assist me. But for the time being, I must say that the ambassador from Switzerland in Kenya, based in Kenya, has promised me some assistance, which I hope it's going to function. And if it functions, that will be a big plus for the efforts that I have been showing. Because if I don't get external assistance, the budget that I am receiving from the government is absolutely not enough. It's not enough at all, because education is taking part of the percentage out of my budget, construction, and also planning. Each and every step is taking a bit of my budget, which leaves me without even enough money to build a classroom. But I'm very happy. This time, Ganze, they have donated 5 classrooms, and that is a big way forward. And I hope in future, if any help can be channeled through Ganze, that will be a very big assistance that will be coming directly to Ganze, instead of when somebody just sends assistance or help to Kenya, then it will be distributed in the whole country. And when it reaches Ganze, I have nothing.
So what's the biggest help you could get from Switzerland?
Actually, from Switzerland, whereby we have got a system that is working, I would imagine, I am looking forward if I could get assisted with health facilities, health facilities like equipment, which I could be trying to put up buildings for the health structures, but the equipment, there are no equipments. That is one thing. Or also building the primary schools where the youth, they will be really a promising future for that area, which has been really, it was actually initially left without any assistance, because people have been so tribalistic, so corrupt. And this time, I hope if we can start with the youth, the young boys and young women, to educate them, give them the basic education, they can be quite competitive. And they're very, very intelligent, because I could see the last standard 8s who did last year, with all the efforts that I have done, there is a single school which they all passed. The whole class passed. And now the biggest problem is, where do they get money to continue with their higher education? Because I don't have a very big budget to cater for everybody. But nevertheless, I am not giving up, because I am sure that help can come from any direction, from Switzerland, from the government also. If I can go and cry here and there looking for any help, I'm sure we will get to know that they will get their education. Also, if I come to agriculture, it will make sure that they have got enough food sustainability to make them at least know and appreciate that people are on their side, and they are also worthy people to even live, and they are very intelligent. So once we can really bank on our education and health and agriculture, jobs, if it comes, I'll be the most lucky person in the next few months to come.
So there is still a lot to be done, but a lot has already been done also.
I would imagine on the level of my expectation, we have still a long way to go. We expect to make accessibility of roads, water, which is also not very easily available, and several other items like the education and health facilities, including agriculture, for the food of the people. So there's a lot to be done, although we are really trying. Because I don't want to say that we have managed to do a lot. I think there's still a lot to be done, although it is actually trickling or moving very slowly because of the finances.
So Peter Safari Shehe, thank you so much for this interesting interview and the insight in your private and professional life.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have this interview, and I hope it's going to reach our brothers and sisters and friends, loving people who I really miss. But although I must say that this time of the year, I know it is winter there, and here, although it's a bit different in weather, but here we have got that 7 degrees and the sun is shining morning and evening. Thank you very much indeed.